Hello, I am Charles McDaniel and I welcome you back to my channel. Today's lesson is how to read notes on the staffs. Now, many of you may have already seen my other videos, how to read notes on the piano, and those are great ones to start with because it gives you an idea of, first of all, where the notes are on the piano and how they relate. This lesson, though, it focuses not just on piano, but it could be many different instruments. For example, one might like to play flute, oboe, clarinet, or in the stringed instruments, bass, violin, what have you. And this is a lesson that is general and teaches one how to read notes on the staffs, and it can serve even for vocalists. So it is multi-purpose, this lesson. I'm very excited to bring this to you because, as in my other lessons, my goal is to make it very straightforward, simple, quick to learn notes on the staffs, and to do so in each lesson to where you only learn 2 or 3 per lesson, and that way you're not overwhelmed all at once. So I would encourage you to watch the whole series. Today's lesson, I'm actually only going to teach 2 notes and how to read them on the staff, and I will be getting into that in just a moment. Now, what is so exciting is that with these music staffs, this has been in use for hundreds of years, and they really are quite effective in teaching us how to read notes. You may have heard the old adage of certain things like every good boy does fine. Those are fine to learn the notes, but I like to teach them in a more piecemeal fashion to where they become much more quick and easy to learn, and I'll explain that in just a moment. So to start off, you will notice that here we have 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, this figure right here is called the treble clef. This figure is called the bass clef. If you think of your stereo system, to turn up the treble means you turn up the pitch on the stereo. If you turn the bass, you of course increase that boomy sound that you get on your stereo system. Think of this then simply meaning higher, notes that are up higher, here, notes that are down lower. But let's make it even more simple than that. These are actually, if you can believe it, letters. This is a particular letter. This is a particular letter. Now again, notice those lines I showed you earlier, the lines right here, and there are spaces in between them as well. There will be each line and each space a note that we will be able to name. First of all, though, back to the fact that this is a letter, this is actually a fancy G. Just like if you were to make a cursive G, this is kind of an old-fashioned cursive G. And guess what? If I write this note in right here on this line, see the little arrow here? Points directly to it. That note is a G. Now you might say that seems like a strange note to start with, but I start with that one because this is the letter G and it points directly to itself as being a G. I should back up for a moment, however, and let you know that there are only 7 notes total to learn. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's all there is. In the musical alphabet, it doesn't go A to Z like it does in our alphabet system in English. It simply goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's all you have to learn because then the notes start repeating themselves. So in any case, this first one, the reason I bring this out is it's a G. The second note in this lesson I want to teach you is right here. Now notice how I drew this underneath these 5 lines that I mentioned, and I drew a line through that note. This is probably the most famous note of them all. This is what we call the middle C. Now again, for those of you who might wonder where that is on the piano, if you go back to those piano videos where it shows you how to read middle C on the piano, it will show you exactly where that middle C is on the piano. And again, we use that term middle to refer more to piano than we do for other instruments, but still, it's the generic name middle C. Now, this note, once again, is a G. This note is a C. Notice there's quite a gap in between there. There will be other notes, of course, very soon we'll be filling in. But believe it or not, for this particular lesson, lesson number 1, these are the only 2 notes I want you to learn. It's the G, because again, this is actually the letter G that points out how all the notes are to line up on the staff here. And then this one down somewhat lower is the middle C. So G and C. And again, notice the way we describe this C is we watch and we see this line that goes through it. That is our C. And again, on this line, that is R, G. So in this lesson, these are the two notes that I wanted you to learn. Now, by lesson 2, I will already be talking about the notes that fill in the either lines or spaces from here to here that will help you to learn those. But if nothing else in this particular lesson, learn these two notes and you will already be on your way to note reading on the staffs. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in lesson 2.